Hello everybody, this is Ground Control to Major Tom. You really made it great. And I'm floating in a mass peculiar way. Hey guys, so today we're gonna review the Percept 97H racket, the heaviest boy in the Yonex lineup. It's a racket that I selected as my potential switch, and it is participating in my tournament of rackets going against the Vicor 98 Tour in the first round. But let's now focus on all the positives and negatives of the Percept 97H. First, it is ready to play in stock form. No need to customize it, it is stable with a lot of plow-through, and it would be very disappointing if a racket with 330 grams needed some modifications. For its total weight and swing weight, the Percept 97H doesn't feel that heavy to manipulate the head. That's because the balance point is low, so it was great at volleys and returns, and I think it plays great in every situation. It is especially good at redirecting pace, approach shots and volleys. Percept line is the most control and feel-oriented offer from Yonex catalog, so despite the heavier specs, it still performs like a low-powered, control-oriented frame. And this is where I have issues with the Percept 97H. For the weight that I have to move around, I expected a bit more. I feel like it would perform similar at 320 grams, or at least compared to some other 320 grams rackets with higher swing weight, I didn't notice any additional boost of those 10 added grams. And those 10 grams are probably hidden somewhere in the middle of the racket. So you feel the overall heaviness, but it's not really helping in generating more racket head speed or plow through or power or whatever. It's just heavy for the sake of being heavy at this point. I did play with some old versions of this frame and they felt surprisingly light and fast. So I think maybe the wave distribution of those were slightly better than Percept 97H. It's like I had more performance per gram of the racket. Regarding the energy I need to put into the swing in order to move it around, I would say it is slightly above frames like Blade 1820, T-Fight 305 and Yonex Vicor 98 Tour. On the positive side, I think when fresh, it is easier for me to activate wrist action with the Percept 97H, while the other frames mentioned can be a bit demanding here. But the overall energy that Percept 97H consumes would worry me for all the weekend tournaments where you often have to play few matches in one day. And for such a heavy racket, I would expect a bit more power or whatever to give me an edge over my opponents. It performed quite casual in comparison to some other lighter rackets that are within the range of swing weight and overall type of target players. However, I still have this feeling that Percept 97H might be a better solution for a serious competing player when compared to regular Percept 97 that lacks a bit of plow through and stability. I always appreciate a racket that is ready to play in stock form straight out of the box. And maybe if I had stronger core, I would appreciate the heavier Percept 97H a bit more. I think if it was 320 grams, it would perform much better, or actually the ratio of grams per what you get in return would be better, because like I said, I really enjoyed the performance of the Percept 97H. Just the cost of the performance is a bit too high for me and my physicality. But I am Team Asparagus, so it's always a bit complicated for me. I usually enjoy heavier frames in feel, but I don't want them to be slow, if that makes any sense. I want to feel the wave of the loop because it helps me localize the position of the racket in the loop, and this improves strokes mechanics quite a lot. It is easier to recreate and copy each stroke if you feel the mass and the position of the head. So yeah, that's why grinders like me usually play with heavier frames. It helps redirecting the pace and helps them being more regular, because the wave itself plays kinda for you. You just initiate things and move around. Usually the biggest disadvantage of such setup is playing closer to the net, where you kinda need faster racket head speed. Percept 97H is not that bad here, but again, I think the cost is not that much worth it. Percept 97H is probably the closest racket to what Hubie Hurkacz is using, so if you are fit and have enough strong core to play with the frame for a longer period of time, then I think you will have a lot of fun with this racket. It actually can be a positive thing when the racket is heavy but low powered at the same time. Maybe you just want a heavier frame just for the sake of the feel, not for the added power. In this case, 97H is also a great solution. Or maybe you enjoy the heaviness of Blade or T-Fight 305, but your wrist feels sore after a game. Maybe you're just sensitive to head-heavy balance. In this case, Percept 97H could be a good alternative because it is heavy, but it's not wearing down wrist that much. It's just the overall stamina that burns out quite quick. And yep, that's it for the review. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Strings I used in this racket was Yonex Polytour Rev in a beautiful mint color that suits the Percept line perfectly. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe and see you soon.